J. Cole. I often wish to be like J. Cole and Frank Ocean, have that kind of reach with some form of reclusion, but I don't know how I could handle the pressures of being a celebrity, especially one whose work has often been filled with political and conscious themes. Judgment. Think twice about whatever you post on the web or face the wrath of judgment from the mobs. Journey. We all have a journey towards self-improvement, at least we all think we do. Sadly, that is forgotten today, because the first mistake you make, or the first mistake that is found, present or past, will lead to your downfall in the eyes of the mob. Joyful. I remember those simple days, those joyful days when you could go on the web and just have fun watching stupid cat videos or finding new artists without worrying for their political views. That sense of fun and joy slowly continues to be lost in the midst of an ever-growing politically driven way of communication. Joke. Beware of your jokes. No longer can you experiment, for if you do in any way, it might be deemed harmful. Jacket. I can't imagine myself wearing a jacket in these hot sunny days where it feels like we live in a ring of fire. I'm even more amazed as to how I wore jackets and hoodies as a teen. Trying to fit in is such a big thing as a teen that you're willing to suffer for it. I wish I had embraced my idiosyncrasies a bit more back then. Perhaps I would have had an even more productive, artistic, creative life. Jiggle. Look at these chichos jiggles as I dance away the stress that continues to run through my mind and ruin my mental health. Thankfully, I found ways to keep it away. I hope my people and their close ones can too find a way to burn out bad stress, so they can too have a happy life. Jiggling. The poet continues jiggling his car keys as the stress of regular life conquers his mind, and he doesn't have the tools in hand to ride the stress away. Jungle. I leave the small town environment, which I've called home for over 28 years, to live in the concrete jungle known as La Metro, due to a job opportunity that might allow me to continue to grow economically, personally, and hopefully artistically. Sadly, I'm not sure that the artistically side will grow much. Jam. I'm licensed to ill like the Beastie Boys, and I'm licensed to jam like MJ. I just wish I could live up to my own expectations of greatness. Jar. My mind continues to be a jar of ideas that continue to spill out on canvases. At times the jar just breaks and sleep is lost as I write away more than I could imagine in a single sitting. Jail. Sometimes I wish I could be as focused as certain artists and figures have been able when they were in jail. I think this quarantine is the closest I'll ever feel to that feeling of being jailed, because I've been extremely focused like all those artists and figures, but not really like them, as I've also been distracted by multiple forms of arts, media, and entertainment. Jealousy. Jealousy often leads to the downfall of productivity. I experienced this myself after being jealous of a fellow poet's success. I wish to never feel this again, and if I do, I wish I could use Seth's jealousy as fuel for creativity. Jet. I write away close to 100 poems. I feel like a jet, Flash, and Sonic, typing away thoughts so fast that not even the Millennium Falcon can catch up. Jewels. These poems all have their jewels, just like every word written by Run the Jewels, though I wish I could reach their level of greatness in order to truly help inspire a larger audience. Job. I'm often sent job applications for jobs I don't like, and I understand I gotta make money, cause poetria and the arts haven't left me much, but I often question if it's good to even take such opportunities when I won't be happy in those situations, and they'll take away from what makes me happy. I wish life could be a little simpler, but I've learned that it'll always be filled with struggle. Jazz. I write away improv style like many of the jazz greats, looking to find some form of purpose or higher learning in the thoughts that tempest my mind's clarity, but I often end up like this poem, empty. Jaguar. The poet becomes a jaguar with laser-focused eyes as he expresses his experiences and learnings after playing video games as a kid. Jest. Many of my poems were written in jest or just to have fun, But I wonder how many will understand this and how many will misunderstand and take some other meaning from them. Join. In politics, they will ask you to join their group, but in reality, you will serve their group, and so will the generations that follow if they don't watch their footsteps. Justice. Justice has not been served for hundreds of years, and people continue to question why people march on the streets. Jump. Go ahead and jump into the arts, never be afraid to experiment, learn all that you can, and then try to break away from the norm and find your own voice, always understanding the roots. Joint. A young man coughs away his stress at the smoke of a joint that takes him to unexplored lands and a state of peace. Jive. Young people in the 40s and 50s jive dance, worrying the generations that came before that they're losing their purity. Jelly. She enjoys a nice pair of jelly toasts, a simple breakfast for another day full of labor. Jersey. As a kid, I always wanted my name and legacy to be immortalized in basketball jerseys, but now these words will serve as my jerseys. Hopefully, they'll serve for good and inspire others.